On the morning of Easter Sunday, April 3, 1994, 18-year-old Heidi Allen opened the D&W convenience store in New Haven, New York, just as she did on most mornings. It was still dark outside when she began her shift at 5:45 a.m. By 7:50 a.m., customers arriving at the store found the cash register open, money missing, and Heidi gone. Her car was still parked outside, but there was no sign of her. When authorities arrived at the scene, they quickly classified it as a possible abduction. Witnesses recalled seeing a man talking to Heidi shortly before she vanished. Surveillance was not available at the store, so investigators had to rely on statements and physical evidence. A receipt indicated that the last transaction had occurred shortly before 8 a.m. Heidi was well known in the small rural town. She was a high school senior who worked multiple jobs and was planning to attend college. Her disappearance deeply unsettled the community. Hundreds of volunteers joined search efforts that extended into the surrounding woods and farmland. Despite weeks of searching, no trace of her was ever found. Investigators eventually zeroed in on Gary Thibodeau and his brother Richard. Richard owned a white van, which matched descriptions given by witnesses who saw a suspicious vehicle near the store around the time of Heidi's disappearance. Both brothers were questioned. Richard claimed he had gone to the store that morning to buy cigarettes and that Heidi was alive and well when he left. Gary said he was not involved and had an alibi. Despite a lack of physical evidence tying either man directly to the crime, Gary Thibodeau was charged with kidnapping in the first degree. In 1995, he was convicted based largely on circumstantial evidence and the testimony of jailhouse informants who claimed Gary had confessed while in custody. His brother Richard, who was also charged, was acquitted. Gary maintained his innocence for years. He filed multiple appeals, arguing that he was wrongfully convicted. His defense highlighted inconsistencies in witness accounts and pointed out that no DNA or physical evidence ever tied him to the scene. In later years, new witnesses came forward claiming that Heidi had been abducted and murdered by a different group of individuals involved in drug activity, and that her remains were buried on a remote property. Law enforcement searched the property but found no remains. In 2015, the case gained renewed attention when investigative journalists and legal experts began reviewing the conviction. The New York State Attorney General's office re-examined the case, and hearings were held to evaluate the new evidence and testimonies. Despite mounting public pressure and questions about the strength of the original case, the court denied Gary's request for a new trial. Gary Thibodeau was convicted and sentenced to 25 years to life in prison for the kidnapping of Heidi Allen. Gary Thibodeau died in prison in August 2018 at the age of 64. He had spent over 2 decades behind bars, still proclaiming his innocence. As of today, Heidi Allen's body has never been found, and the full truth of what happened to her remains uncertain. Her family continues to honor her memory and seek closure, refusing to let her story be forgotten.